Russiano.
You can do it. If you're worried you can't do it, I'm here to tell you, you can.
And Michael Lucas.
I can no longer fit into most pants, so I've taken to wearing drawstring board shorts, even though it's freezing.
This is Emsolation.
My vagine has been through a lot. She deserves organic cotton and breathable fabrics.
I don't want her to have anything that's
She's
best.
now in some kind of horrible paper toweling hell. It's not good. She's probably going to, get really upset with me.
You're in Emsolation.
Well, hello there and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, and together with my best friend since I was 11, a beloved Australian screenwriter, Mr. Michael Lucas, not the porn star, the screenwriter. Although, as we have stated, when you used to Google Michael Lucas, the porn star would come up first, and now Michael Lucas, the screenwriter, comes up first. If that's not an achievement in itself. And look, we just chat about all things pop culture, politics, princesses. This week we really talk about princesses. I watched Diana the Musical, this stunning masterpiece that is Diana the Musical. It is the most cursed, cooked thing I've ever seen. And I gave it 5 stars. We really give you a thorough review. You may not even feel you need to watch it after hearing our review, but look, there's no spoilers. You all know the story of Princess Di, unless you're my daughter Marcella, who watched Diana the Musical learning the story of Di as they sung. And look, it wasn't altogether accurate. But God, it was fun. How are you? How's your week been? This is going to be a super short intro because Michael and I yabbered on today. Something like, I think it was a 50-minute record. We were just chatting. I just want to say a big hello to all the frontline healthcare workers. I've had a lot of interactions with you this week. I had a very eye-opening week, as a lot of you know, within the media and within my own Instagram account. I decided I wanted to give my platform to frontline healthcare workers, specifically ICU nurses and docs. And also I just want to acknowledge, of course, paramedics and pharmacy workers and clerical staff and ward nurses, of course, all the frontline healthcare workers. But I wanted to specifically tap into the people who are dealing with COVID patients face-to-face, because I felt like you guys haven't actually had a direct line to the public. There's a lot of politics around the information that gets out. I know that hospitals are a very political place. Don't worry, I know that. My mum worked in one, and I know quite a few nurses and doctors, and I know there's a lot of things that go on there. But I just wanted to give you a streamline to the public, and it was just so eye-opening. And I want you to know, it's saved as a highlight on my Instagram story if you want to go and see them. But I want you to know, if you did share your story with me and I put it up, you made a difference, because I received, I would say over 100, probably 100 messages of people who were vax hesitant, and seeing the stories spurred them on to book an appointment to get vaccinated, to get their first jab. So that worked. That made a difference. And it was just honest, straight talk from the people, on the front line of the war. So thank you for that. Thank you for being a part of it if you're involved in that. And like I said, buy coffees for them, whatever they need, give them a pay rise. And clearly that's the big thing. It's like, yeah, that's great. We know we're heroes, but we'd like to be paid what we're worth. That was the overwhelming message I got. Obviously things got a bit prickly for me in the media this week. Michael and I touch on that. And we also talk about Adele. Oh, God, we love her. She's on the front cover of 2 Vogues, casually. Did an amazingly chaotic Instagram live, which we talk about. So there's lots to get to, so I'm not going to keep you. I just wanted to say hello to all the frontline healthcare workers, and thank you very much. And also special shout out to my community, especially on the Emsolation Facebook group, the Emsolators there. I know you all have my back this week, and I do feel stronger and braver having my community out there changing narratives of certain news outlets that want to peddle bullshit about me. Same old. You guys know the truth. And I don't know, I feel buoyed, and I feel like I've got my army of amazing humans to go to bat for me, which is really important and wonderful, and I thank you. All right, let's get to it. Play the music.
Em Rusciano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
Wow, look at you. You've got a lot of height in your hair today. Another metamorphosis for your hair.
It's just that I've just had a shower. That's what's happened there. But also,
love
I've had
that.
a shower. That's what you get when you combine no haircut for months and shower. It really is completely shapeless, styleless, and all over the place at the moment.
No, it's Josh Lyman-esque. West Wing circa season 2. Yeah, it really is.
That's appropriate because I feel like I have just been overworked, wandering around hallways, going in circles a lot of the time. So
Wearing
I
a
feel
backpack.
connected to him. Yeah, I do wear a backpack. I've got it right here.
You do. You're on the last day of 5 bedrooms in the production office.
Yes, the last time I'll be sitting here in this office, but before behind me there was all the headshots. They've been all taken down. It's that last little thing, unplugging all the extension cords, taking off all the blue tack.
Well done, though. I say to you, sir.
Yeah.
Well done.
I
You
know.
did it because you were limping to the line.
Limping. Still am hobbling along. I know. And how much have we asked it in? And then we're gonna get like 1 week of lockdown, and then the world's going to open up.
Are you ready? I mean, the case numbers are obviously off their heads, and we're still, from what I assume, are we still opening up as normal on October 24th?
Yeah, I think if not earlier, and but I think that we are statistically, it looks like we're over the peak at the moment, and we're starting to come down. And so the hope is, because our vaccination rates are surging, that trend will continue, and we'll be let out. And it's a really strange one. It's like our hospital crisis is going to hit at the exact point when we're suddenly all sort of let out to a certain extent to be free.
I know. I need a roadmap out of no social interaction. I need a 5-step roadmap as to how to be in a group of people again, because...
And you've got to take it slowly, because do you remember after the last mega lockdown that Melbourne had, Em and I, our first social event was together, and it was with Kat Stewart and Doris Unane, and it was like a group of about 8 people, and we went out for dinner because we were so excited. And I am not someone that's prone to any kind of social anxiety or anything like that, but I had this weird moment when we sat down where I started to almost feel like I was getting a migraine coming on, because my brain had forgotten how to like follow multiple conversations at once and different people talking over each other. And I found it really I got over it, and the Negronis certainly helped. But for about 25 minutes, I was having like physical symptoms of, I can't handle this. I can't handle this.
I know. It was your birthday, which is
That's right.
rolling around again in a couple of weeks.
At the moment, the 80% double dose in Victoria lands on my birthday.
Well, you know, Marcella's birthday is October 24.
Amazing.
So release date falls on her birthday. But I mean, I'm really anxious about it. But I know my first big social outing will be for your birthday. So that's fine. And we'll be dressed up. So it's appropriate. My first big social outing after last year's big lockdown was your birthday, and here we are again.
I think you should inject a couple of steps before that, though. I know what you mean. I don't know.
I'm all or nothing. I'm all or nothing. You know that. My kingdom to occupy the lands between all or nothing, that beautiful place where people are just chill and they come in at half strength and they build up to things. I know not of this land. I know not of it. I am the queen of nothing or all, and that is how it will always
It's
be.
either at home in the dark in a flannel onesie straight to the Met Ball red carpet. It's essentially the polls.
Exactly. Now, I had a wonderful experience the other night, unexpected. It had been an interesting day where I had been pitted in the media as an unsupportive bully, and we'll touch on that later. And I needed something just to take the edge off. And so I sat down and I thought, I'm going to watch Diana the Musical on Netflix.
Hello, I'm Diana.
I think that's going to take more than the edge off. That's going to take several of the internal organs off.
It's just, I just want to preface what you're about to hear with, it's the most catastrophically awful, worse than Cats, horrific train wreck I've ever seen, and I give it 5 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
I mean, to say it's worse than Cats, the only thing that could have tipped it over perhaps is if James Corden had have turned up as a slightly, like jaunty butler.
Right, well, that's not going to work, is it? Okay? Look at you and look at me, and you know that I'm sensitive about my size.
And look, I was expecting it.
I'm surprised he didn't. But I know why, because it was meant to be a Broadway run. He couldn't commit that much time. But if that was a one-off, he would have been there. He would have been cast, absolutely.
100%. So it was meant to open, obviously, on Broadway, but then obviously, Corona happened. And now it's still slated to open in November of this year. So Netflix filmed it much like they did with much like Disney did with Hamilton. No audience, so it was kind of eerie. And I really had no idea about this musical. I hadn't read any reviews. I'd seen a couple songs where she did a group number with AIDS patients, where one of them sings the line, "I may be dying, but at least I'm good looking." And I really just didn't know what to expect. But from the opening number, oh my God. All right, okay. So basically, it was written by the Bon Jovi keyboard player.
Sitting here wasted and wounded with this old piano.
Yeah. Who has written musicals before, as I understand it. Wrote apparently a successful musical called Memphis, which I'm not familiar with.
I'm not familiar with Memphis either.
No, but apparently it was a success. It feels like quite a leap to go from that to this topic. And
I just don't know where to start. So it basically follows Diana from her first meeting with Charles through to her divorce and also the tragic death. And I don't even know where to start. I'm so overwhelmed with this. So obviously a car crash, a death in a tunnel is not great for Broadway. Like, it's not a fun thing. It's not your closing number. So we really had to build up to this moment. And it's a 2.5 hour long musical, Michael. It's
it was
not
long.
like
and I just want to declare up front, I haven't made it to the end. I felt like I had spent at least a decade and a half watching it, and then we clicked and we weren't even at the halfway mark. It really, it's a long musical.
And I'm unsure of who's the target demo for this musical? Who are they going after?
Oh, drunk you and I is the answer to that. And let's just say absolute bullseye.
So it opens with her singing a song by herself, and then it's like a song, something called underappreciated, or it's the most woeful opening number of it's just a woman standing quietly singing unremarkable or what's it called when you're underestimated? That's it.
Yeah.
The opening number is called Underestimated.
Won't they be surprised when you're underestimated?
And straight off, Chella and I were like, whoa. And then there's just this cavalcade of swing cast. There's only about 10 of them. And it's very jarring when the cellist is suddenly playing the butler, who's suddenly playing the nanny. Like, the swing cast, they really were trying to save money. I have to say straight.
I just fully support the fact that Queen Elizabeth also played Barbara Cartland. You will not hear, you cannot criticise that as far as I'm concerned. And one of those changes was very quick. I don't know how she did it. But she didn't do the full Barbara eye makeup or anything like that.
She didn't. She was all the minute she was Queen, and the next year was Barbara Cartland, who was Diana's mother-in-law, great aunt.
Yes, which some sort of relative, yes, like that. But
and she's a romance novelist.
I'm going to say I did not know that. I learned that via this musical. I did not know that there was a relation there.
I didn't think either of us would walk away saying, I learned this via this musical. I'm shocked that you've added that.
I learned a lot via this musical.
Else did you learn?
I like top line, maybe the human species, just let climate change play its course and we'll give the planet to another species. I think that's the top line. No. Well, yeah, no. That was the only thing I learned about history, I've got to say. That there was a Barbara Cartland, Diana family relationship, yeah.
Yeah, look, if you've watched the documentary The Crown, especially the latest season...
So I can only imagine, hope, that you've come here to apologise.
And can we just touch on, isn't it interesting how, with Diana, it was like we went 20 years and we thought not appropriate to do anything about her. And Naomi Watts tried once and we were like, no, Naomi, stop it. But then all of a sudden we hit that 20-year anniversary of her death and it was like, okay, floodgates open.
Let the pigeons loose. Yeah.
Oh, my God. Chick from Twilight, we'll give you a movie, we'll do a TV series, we'll do a Broadway show. We just cannot stop with the Diana content right now.
Wouldn't you be mad if you were the people who made the Spencer, the new Kristen Stewart Diana biopic that she's supposed to be nominated for an Academy Award for, up against Gaga?
Father, Son, and House of Gucci.
I mean, next year's a bumper year for the Academy Awards.
Can't wait.
But wouldn't you be angry? This thing has got 18-minute standing ovations. It's still yet to hit. And the biggest Diana thing in the news right now is this horrible, horrible musical that some of the reviews, some of the headlines, the filmed version, maybe a Princess Diana musical wasn't such a great idea. The musical to watch if you hate yourself, 1 star. Like some of the reviews were just...
I dispute that because I don't hate myself, but I still very much value the time I spend watching it.
Diana the musical, a right royal debacle so bad you'll hyperventilate. But the thing is, I think it was the idea, the people that wrote the lyrics, it was very Andrew Lloyd Webber 1980s vibe. Every second line had to rhyme. They were just doing rhyming couplets and that was it. And some of the lyrics, if I may...
Oh, I've got a couple too.
Oh, good. I mean, they're probably the same.
The same.
Surely.
The paparazzi one?
Do it. The wank line. Yeah, go.
Better than a Guinness.
Let's set the scene.
Okay,
set the scene. Oh, you said it. Go.
Oh, she's newly dating the prince and the paparazzi are all over her. And let's just say the paparazzi, they're mysteriously, Adrian pointed this out, they're all
Why
wearing
are they dressed as
1940s reporters, trench coats.
Yes.
Or I was taken aback to the Dick Tracy number in Madonna's Blonde Ambition concert. That's what it felt like.
A lot of people say I have a lot of balls. But you know what? They're wrong. Because what I have is a dick.
Thank you. That's what I said to my entire family. Why are they dressed like the Dick Tracy from the Blonde Ambition concert? This doesn't make sense. This doesn't line up timeline-wise. Thank you. We are the same person. Continue.
Yeah,
yes.
They were just sort of in beautiful formation. And by beautiful, I mean absolutely nauseating formation and choreographed moves, were sort of dancing around and taking a picture in this one big number. And one of the lyrics was, better than a Guinness, better than a wank. Snap a few pictures, it's money in the bank. My God. And also I just want to say that they were singing in Cockney accents as well. So you're getting a bit of Dick Van Dyke from Mary Poppins in there. It was Rocker Stedford.
Oh my God.
Like awful, but amazing. So entertaining.
Amazing. It's like a poor taste flash mob.
Yeah.
Put on by a high school. It was just extraordinary. And better than a Guinness, better than a wank. I've got some other ones. There was one where Diana turned up at Camilla's cousin's party and did you get to their Thrilla in Manila between Diana and Camilla?
Was this where they pseudo-boxed?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a thriller in Manila with Diana and Camilla, which isn't easy to sing, but they just did it because it rhymed. Oh. There was no other way. They have literally done this whole number because Milla and Camilla rhyme. That's it. Manila, Thriller, Camilla. I'm like, what can we do? I know.
The motto behind this musical was rhyme at all costs. Rhyme before logic, rhyme before taste.
What about when she was leaning in over Harry's cot?
My favourite. I love this. I loved it. We were...
Harry.
I can't remember the melody, but I know she sang Harry, my gingerhead son. You'll always be second to none. Oh, so moving.
Stunning. And but the best moment, which had me I had to pause it and just walk a quiet lap around the house to recompose, was when James Hewitt arrived. When James Hewitt, who was Diana's lover, the one that was always speculated, is he Harry's father? They look very similar. And he bursts from beneath the stage astride a pommel horse, topless, singing, James Hewitt, James Hewitt. Really, really high and just topless. And that was a very deliberate decision. Someone in the production team's he needs to be topless. He needs to be topless on a pommel horse. Upon his entrance, I want him topless on a pommel horse, singing his name very high. I was just I just couldn't believe it. I was peaking.
Yeah.
I was it was so amazing. But the moment when she goes to visit the AIDS patients, was the men with AIDS who, it's a very famous moment, a very famous photo op where she didn't put on the gloves, and they're all sitting around, and one man dying of AIDS, literally dying, says, "I may be unwell, but I'm handsome as hell."
Maybe unwell, but I'm handsome as hell.
So I just think, priorities. But to decide to do a group number around her visit to the AIDS hospice was just
Genius.
But the end?
I haven't seen the end yet, so I'm intrigued to see how they handle that very, very difficult and traumatic last moment. I'm sure they do it with the dignity that it absolutely demands.
So think about the end of Hamilton. Okay, so at the end of Hamilton, everything goes quiet.
Yes, whisper. Yes, we go in, and then we end with that poignant Eliza moment, and yeah.
Yeah, with her going,
yeah,
the gasp.
yes, the gasp, yes.
Okay, so they tried to do this. All the cast appears, all the butlers, Charles, everyone, they're all walking. It's kind of very chess too, the way it's lit, backlit. And the back screen's open, and it's like the heaven's doors have opened, and Diana's walking towards it. And then they have all the news reports. Princess Diana, Princess of Wales, has been killed in a fatal car accident. And as she's walking into the light, they sing, "The people who will change the world are not the ones you think will change the world."
The people who will change the world
Are not the ones you think will change the world.
It's so profound.
I want that hand stitched on a cushion, please.
I'll be disappointed if I'm not resting on it next time at your house when we will be rewatching this.
Above my live, life, love, above my hashtag blessed, they ended this Broadway musical on "The people who will change the world are not the ones you think will change the world." Couldn't think of a rhyme. 10 out of 10, would recommend. Absolutely shockingly appalling.
Can I just ask though, because so Netflix has bought this, and the thing about it is, the people that made this musical, I think they've thought that to themselves, we'll sell it to Netflix and it'll drive more ticket sales for when.
That's exactly why they did it. Correct.
I'm just going to say that people at Netflix knew that this is going to be an absolute camp. Like, sort of, people aren't going to be watching this without a great deal of irony. This will not be viewed sincerely at all.
No, and the people who have viewed it sincerely are very offended.
But also,
like, if you read,
because I really feel like that that the actress playing Diana, I feel like she's really giving it and doing her absolute best, and I don't feel that the people on that stage are aware necessarily of how this new musical is going to be interpreted, and also I do think that actress she's talented. She can sing. She's got an amazing voice, and she is finding the truth in the moments, and those lines aren't helping her, but she's going for it.
Imagine having to sing "Serves Me Right for Marrying a Scorpio." And when Charles berates her for dressing in a certain way, for a start, don't dress like a tart. Yes!
I know.
Yes!
I feel like the thing is, Cats was an amazing shit show, but it was also kind of scary in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like it was hard. It was a hard watch as well. And then for me as well, there's an interim step as well that was Christmas on the Square. That was also kind of like terrifying.
Christmas lights and snowball fights. There's a Duffy there.
My eye!
Friends and neighbors, cotton cake burns. Christmas on the Square.
I won't have that from you. It's Emmy Award nominated.
Okay.
No, Emmy. She won. She won an Emmy for that. So.
Well, but the thing about this is, it's never scary.
No, it's joyous. It's horrible.
And it is.
We're so
so taken aback.
And also the other thing about it is we know we can, like, we have access to other retellings of Diana that have been sort of far better executed. So it hasn't ruined the tale of Diana for anyone. It is just something to enjoy at 1 a.m. after 15 gins.
Yes, but what you need to know is Marcella doesn't know the story of Princess Di.
That blows my mind.
Marcella hasn't watched the documentary The Crown. So this musical was her first introduction to the story, and she had so many questions. She's like, what? Why is Camilla there? And I said, babes, you need to watch the documentary The Crown, the last season,
right.
and then we'll have a discussion. But look, it's some people are very upset by it, like proper monarchists and royalists who love her and people who love Diana, and I understand why, but in my one of my great thrills in life is to be able to enjoy ironically terrible things that may not even be meaning to be ironically terrible. And this made me feel really good. Therefore, I love it. And I tell you, Michael, we must make a pilgrimage to see it live.
Oh, I'll go. We were there opening night of the Bodyguard musical. And
I'm telling you, at some point, wherever it gets put on, when we can do it,
it's a pact.
It's a pact.
Yeah.
Chella is 21 next October. That could be the 21st pilgrimage. I'm sure she'd be rapt to spend her 21st.
I'm stepping it up. If it tours Australia, I'm making you audition for the Queen / Barbara Cartland.
How dare you? I'm too young.
Okay, or you could play Diana.
Or Camilla.
Yeah, she's more the Rizzo of this production, isn't she?
She's totally the Rizzo. So it's on Netflix if you want to watch it. It's ridiculous. Like, you'll be watching it, but just look out for James appearing.
You're not going to miss him.
It was so great. All right, we're going to go away. We're going to come back and we're going to talk Adele. It's one of my favourite topics this week. Okay.
M. Rossiano and Michael Lucas. This is Emsolation.
All right, so Adele on the front cover of two Vogues simultaneously, UK Vogue and US Vogue. Did you see the photos?
Yes, she looks amazing.
It was breathtaking. She looks stunning, amazing, just like a pin-up, like a 50s classic. It's so great. And then I read the article and I had a lot of thoughts about the things that she said. And there was one particular thing she talked about was the weight loss, because obviously that was the thing that she was gone for ages. And then all of a sudden on her birthday, a photo went up and she was half her size that we had last seen her. And it became the most talked about thing. Like, people in the shops, in the lines in front of me were talking about Adele's weight loss. It was nuts. And I think even she underestimated the impact it was going to have on people. Don't you think? Do you think she did. She sounded shocked. But she said, I understand why. I'm definitely going to do her accent. I understand why it's a shock. I understand why some women... No, I'm not going to do it. I understand why some women especially were hurt. Visually, I represent a lot of women, but I'm still the same person. And this bit I loved. The most brutal conversations were being had by other women about my body. I was very fucking disappointed with that. That hurt my feelings. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, it was like where everyone felt like they had some sort of weird ownership and license to just say whatever they wanted about her body.
Yeah. And just because a certain celebrity makes you feel represented doesn't mean that then they must then stay the same way for all of time. If that person's life requires a shift or they want to do something different, it's not up to them to, protect you from feeling let down by that. I think
you might even say it's just her body, not yours.
Yeah, the whole ownership of in the policing of a woman's body who wants to lose weight or gain weight or whatever. And I get wild when I see in like news.com.au or Daily Mail or whatever, M. Rada shocks in see-through gown or so-and-so's beach body or curves or they make news stories out of women's bodies, and I hate it so much. And the idea that people felt let down because Adele lost weight is wild to me. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, look, I'd be completely lying if I didn't say that when I first saw those pictures that you didn't have a double take and be like, oh, my God. And, there's probably things to interrogate in that reaction. Why was it so startling and why did, we were two of the people that were talking about it too. I hope without the same sense of...
No, I felt like I got it. Like, she got divorced. When I separated from Scott, I have never been fitter or stronger or, more tight. I understand, wanting to somehow just... And there's a bit actually...
Ironically, vigorously masturbating to Adele every night.
To Adele,
yeah.
Correct.
And sometimes every day.
Got me through. But she said, it became my time. I thought if I can make my body physically strong and I can feel that and see that, then maybe one day I can make my emotions and my mind physically strong. And I really relate to that because I was feeling so broken that I started boxing. I was boxing at a gym where all the Comancheros box, the bikie gang. I would walk into a gym to my trainer who was terrifying, Jimmy. There was blood on the floor. There was no toilets for women. It smelled of urine.
It's pre-COVID, as you can tell.
Totally pre-COVID. And I loved it. And I was so sad and broken, but my body was strong and I looked strong and I would hit shit and I would spit. I would spit. I never spit. I spat in this gym. And I understand the need to kind of, toughen yourself up. So I kind of thought I really did enjoy that. But I watched her Instagram Live, which was a chaotic mess.
Oh, and an absolute joy.
Oh, such a joy. It was so fun. And a few people sent it to me saying, this reminds me of you. And I was like, I'll take that as a compliment. But we'll put a bit in now. Here's Adele doing her first ever Instagram Live to her 90,000 billion followers.
Can you hear my dogs? Oh, my God. I don't know how to accept a request to be in the video. Don't know how to do that, sorry. I would if I could. Oi, come here. Yes, I'm excited for Beyonce's next album. Are you mad? I love Taylor Swift. I love Doja Cat as well. Pat, teach me how to accept someone. Do I like PC music and hyper pop? I don't know.
I just love it. I just love how the dog appeared.
But you know what? I have a weird reaction to it because I absolutely loved it too and I was reassured. But I think this is also, again, going back to our weird thing about the way people look, because part of what I loved is I always remember Adele back in the day going on talk shows and she was just like that. And she was, she was bawdy and she was loose and she was honest and she had that accent and she was not like any other celebrity. And I really, really appreciated it. And isn't it terrible that since then I've mostly just seen her in pictures in magazine spreads looking incredibly glamorous. And I suppose there was this friggin' part of my mind that thought, is she still that same old Adele? Which is bizarre. And then I watched that Instagram Live and I'm like, oh, of course she is, you fucking idiot. Of course she is the same person. And that's just on you that you thought there was any sort of difference. But nonetheless, when I watched it, I was like, oh, you're still the same person that we all fell in love with. It's weird that I would even suspect it.
Yeah, it is weird. No, but it's weird that you want her to be.
I know. Well,
that's the thing.
But here's the tricky thing, is because I did feel like there was immense value in having someone like her be one of she was the most, and still is, the most beloved celebrity in the world, universally, any generation, any person, grandma, toddler, everyone can agree, we're in the most divided world and yet there's one thing that we can all agree on. Adele. She is magic.
And Dolly. She's our generation's Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Totally. I did think that there was something that was brilliant about that. And the fact that the most beloved person in the world, wasn't, was someone that felt like that they were loose, they were themselves, they didn't feel self-conscious, that all of those sort of things felt great. It felt great.
But do you know what? I don't know. When I hear things, you know how there's sometimes Instagram accounts spill the goss on celebs, people who have worked behind the scenes with celebrities, and is this celebrity nice? Is this celebrity a bitch? Is this celebrity... There are certain celebrities that if I hear they're unkind or a bitch or uppity or whatever, I'm like, good. That's what I expect. I don't feel let down if a celebrity is a mean person. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I hear that, say... I don't know, Chloe Sevigny, the actress, if I hear that she's a bit aloof and cold and not very kind to people, I'm like, good. That makes sense for her.
But I wasn't loving that Adele was nice. I didn't think of her as being nice. I thought of her as being loose and unguarded, and you don't know what's going to come out of her mouth, which is very different from being nice. Like, she would go on talk shows and talk about times when gusts of wind would... Like, she was just loose. The stories she would tell felt like stories you'd tell after 3 wines with your friends, not stories that you would sit there on.
Sure.
And so, I mean, she was nice. I suppose she was nice, and I suppose she was warm, but it was more... There was also something that was a bit rough about it, which I loved. It felt like she was a pint and a half in at the pub, which was... and she seemed like that on Instagram, even though she was clearly in a glamorous Beverly Hills mansion. That's how she still seemed.
I love that she's in a glamorous Beverly Hills mansion. The thing I did love, and we did talk about it on the podcast, where she was on holiday in Jamaica and had the Jamaican flag on as a bikini top, you'll remember, and her hair was in
that was Notting Hill Festival, wasn't it?
She had the Bantu knots. Yeah, the Notting Hill Festival, and she had the Jamaican flag on with the Bantu knots, which is traditional, white women shouldn't have that hairstyle. And she's never taken that photo off her Instagram, because I went and checked if it was still there, and it is. And I was intrigued. And her explanation, every single influencer that has to apologise for anything, take note of what Adele said as to why she's left it up. She said, I could see comments being like, the nerve to not take it down, which I totally get. But if I take it down, it's me acting like it never happened. And I did it, and I totally get why people felt it was appropriating, and I didn't read the fucking room. And I love that because so often, like, someone makes a big mistake publicly, they apologise, they disappear for a month, they remove everything, and it's never spoken of again.
Yeah.
And that's disingenuous and unfair to the victims of your behaviour. So, again, tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, and also that post, she's left up that post and the comments and everything like that, which were a whole narrative. And it did turn into all those sort of things end up becoming, I hate to use the phrase teachable moment. But yeah, sometimes the first time, people, I'm sure there were plenty of people that have that instant gut reaction of, why are people, she's clearly trying to honour that culture. Why is it such a big problem? But the comments all distill, why it is a problem. And so, yeah, I think I love that answer too. And
how good!
And just boiling it down to I didn't read the room, because that's what, and a lot of this new thing is, we've got to accept when it comes to reading the room that there are more people in the room than we used to think. We were just denying that there were people in the room in the past, but they're there. And I love that she phrased it that way.
Now, speaking of influencers,
what a week!
What a week! I innocently and flippantly got caught up in a bit of a brouhaha this week. There was a video was popped online. I blame Joel Creasy, actually. I would never have seen this video if he hadn't sent it to me. Sam Frost, actress on Home and Away, former Bachelorette, former radio host, and all-round nice girl. Everyone who I know that knows her says that she's one of the kindest humans on the face of the planet. And I don't really know her. I know that I came after her on Breakfast Radio, so straight away the media tried to pit us against each other. But I just want to allay that straight away. I think she's a lovely human. That's all I've ever heard about her. I have nothing against Sam Frost. And she popped up a video saying that she was very vax hesitant. A lot of you would have seen it. It went for 5 minutes, and she talked about feeling segregated from society, and it blew up. It blew up to the point where she had to she's nuked all her accounts, all her Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all gone. So temporarily kind of scuttled for a bit, because the backlash was pretty swift and profound. But it was a very damaging video. And I just tweeted a little innocent tweet with a meme underneath it. And the tweet was something like, Sam Frost is a privileged white woman who worked throughout the pandemic. Watching her tearfully complain about segregation and being called brave by her followers is a new level of what the fuck I didn't know was possible.
What the actual fuck?
And there was a picture of David Rose underneath it, and I thought it was pretty innocuous, to be honest. But no, it was not. And in the media, my management were inundated with interview requests for me, like, does M want to comment, does M want to comment? And Nick and Georgia, my managers, were like, no, she just tweeted one thing. What do you want her to say? Like, she's got no comment. There's no comment. She said her comment. She doesn't like the video. And it kept playing out, and then it turned into I was the only person that apparently had a problem with the video, and I was being unsupportive of women and bullying her on World Mental Health Day. And I was abrasive and jealous of her. What other things were written? I'm just a sad old fat bird. Not even funny. Em's just jealous of Sam because she's pretty and thin. Like, there's all these things, right? All these things were playing out. And I just took me down for probably a couple hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the interesting thing about it is people were sort of talking about criticise Sam, you know, criticise her actions and everything, but don't take her down as a person. And then the interesting thing was when I think back on it later, I'm pretty much, a lot of it came from the fact that you began by saying she's a privileged white woman. But the interesting thing is, it shows how much, as white people, we are still incredibly, and we perceive, like, unfortunately, or not, that is just a statement of fact. Like, and I'm a privileged white man. And you're a privileged white woman too.
I'm a privileged white woman.
Correctly stating what she is and why it would be very tone deaf at best to use the word segregation. But those words still are so loaded because people perceive, rather than just what it is, which is a statement of context and a fact, it's perceived as a hideous attack. And we're still very thin-skinned about that sort of stuff. When someone just like the whole notion of, if you're not a privileged white person, then you've unfortunately lived your whole life with labels applied to you. We're still incredibly uncomfortable with being labelled, even if the label is just an accurate statement of fact. And I feel like that was there were so many things at play in the response to it. There was also the fact that we just love to pit women against each other. God, we love it, especially famous women that, you know, that you could perceive. And the fact that you were on breakfast radio after her and everything like that. I think they were seeing perfect recipe for a feud.
And there just isn't one.
No.
And turning this issue into a bitch fight is just really fucking trivialising a very serious thing that we are going through. And it was inaccurate, and I never attacked her personally. I didn't say anything like disparaging about her character. Like there was just nothing in there. It was you know, it was benign and not as funny as perhaps I could have made it. You know, maybe that's the criticism, but the absolute onslaught and the way that the media were trying to spin it, and I started to feel really out of control. And then I started to see the tide turn, and my community stepped in, and I realised I didn't have to worry about defending myself because I have cultivated this incredible crew of individuals, and you're listening now and you're one of them, who have taken the time to get to know me, know my core values, know me as a person, know what I stand for. And so when the media try to spin a certain thing because it suits them and their narrative, in the past, women like me have been powerless to that. We've just had to cop it. And now I can fight back in a way with these hundreds of thousands of people just going at these journalists. And in the comments, I can see you all appearing, because I've been keeping my head pretty low. And in the last 2 weeks, I've piped up on a few issues. I don't know if anyone, no, unless people have noticed, I haven't really commented on much stuff. I've really just been keeping everything pretty safe because I've felt scared and raw and exposed and like everyone, just not mentally able to handle any backlash. But for some reason, I don't know, I feel like my old self again, and I decided to take this issue on.
And also we are literally talking about a life and death issue. That is
life and death.
Accurately, that's just what it is. And especially for healthcare workers. I mean, it's all very easy to be talking about this in an abstract way if it's not something that is touching you in your day-to-day life that much. But if you don't have that luxury if you're on the front line. And that is, I mean, that's why vaccination's so important. And that's why you can't let things like this slide without any response because, you know.
No, and that was annoying. The nurses on the front line, and I did a thing on my Instagram and I asked ICU nurses and docs, what do you want people to know? If you're in a COVID ward, I'm giving you a direct line to the public. What do you want them to know? And so many of them were like, I cried when I saw that video. I'm exhausted. I'm working double shifts. I haven't seen my family. There was nurses who have rented a house so they haven't seen their kids in 6 months.
Yeah.
They're living together to mitigate any risk at all. They're exhausted. They're underpaid. They're not eating properly. They're depressed. They want to quit. And so every single time I would get one of these TMs, I put one of these messages up, it just kind of emboldened me to be like, no, I'm gonna keep pushing this vaccination thing because it is life or death. I have a son who can't be vaccinated and I'm terrified. I'm terrified of this thing because Elio is unprotected until he's allowed to. So yeah, I mean, it was a wild 5 minutes. And it's done, and I'll move on from it all, and it's just all going to be on the internet forever and ever when Elio Googles me one day.
And look, also sideline, the happy news is there's a lot. If you looked at the media, you would think that we were having this enormously huge problem with anti-vaxxers, and I don't want to diminish what a problem it is, but our vax rates are really going well at the moment. And interestingly, in Sydney, people have seen how it has been vaccination that has led to that curve being bent in the right direction. Now they're opening up. And this week it's been floods of people that have been delaying it, have been getting it done. And we're going to smash through 90% of the adult population vaccinated, which is great. Sometimes when you hear so much reporting about anti-vaxxers, it feels like, my God, what? But in actual fact, in terms of over 16 of the population, it's going to be 90% plus easy. And thank God.
Oh, thank God. Because, guys, wait a minute. Let's end the podcast on the people who will change the world are not the ones you think will change the world.
The people who will change the world are not the ones you think will change the world.
Oh, the lyricism. It's just... We're going.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
This is Emsolation.
Okay, that's it. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're not going off to watch Diana the Musical now, I don't know. Can we even be friends? But I'm warning you, it's really bad, but it's so good. Don't forget, you can get the Emsolation merch at mrussiano.com. I today am wearing my stunning Emsolation t-shirt. And follow us on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. The newsletter goes out on Thursdays, done by the delicious Ben Wasley. And, that's all I have to say. It's been a long old podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it, got something out of it. And until next week, I feel like I'm forgetting to tell you something. Oh, I can't tell you who or really talk about it yet, but we've got our first sponsor. I know a lot of you have been hearing SodaStream ads, but that's just like a generic Spotify thing. We now have a big company that has said, hey, Emsolation, we love you. We're going to put our product in you. So that's good. The more sponsors we get, the more likelihood that Spotify is going to keep us on. So this is big news, guys. So when you hear the ad, you'll be hearing me voice it. You be into that ad. You listen all the way through. You go and comment. You go and find that company and you say, hey, good on you for sponsoring that podcast because, look, it's pretty wild in here. Got to be brave. It's a big company. It's a legit company. You'll see. All right, gang, have a great weekend. Bye.
Emsolation with Em Russiano is a Spotify exclusive podcast hosted by Em Russiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley. Produced by Em Russiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fan at Entente Music. With videos by Liam O'Brien. Socials by Marcella Russiano Barrow. With assistance from Jem Evans and Georgia Watts. Plus occasional technical wizardry, wine and coffee from Em's dad Vincent. conspiracy. Get more Emsolation by following the Emsolation podcast on Instagram, where you can also sign up for our weekly newsletter. You can join other Emsolators at the Emsolation group on Facebook. The answer is Harry Styles. If you love what we do, share this podcast with a friend and make sure you're following us on the Spotify app. Thanks for taking time out to listen to this week's episode, and we look forward to chatting with you again soon.